Hello everyone, today we're going to be going over how to kill the Whisperer in a budget setup on mobile. The first thing we're going to look at is the wiki gear recommendation breakdown. Feel free to pause the video whenever you feel necessary. The minimum recommended gear is full Void Mage, but it's totally doable in Aram's, Bloodbark, and above. You're going to want an Occult imbued God Cape, along with a Trident. Twin Flame Staff is really good with earth spells due to Whisperer's earth weakness. The Ayak is amazing here, and Bis is Tunic and Shadow. For the souls, you don't have to have a Venator bow. In this setup, we're actually going to use the Blisterwood Stakes from the Blood Moon Rises quest, but there are other alternatives such as a Rune Throw Axe, focusing just on the Sanitas Ghosts. So here you see my loadout. You have the Dark Fragment, Trident, Book of Darkness, really just absolute minimum gear. I chose to bring a Light Bearer just to show that you don't need the best gear possible to get a perfect kill here. You're going to want Ice Barrage spells, so make sure you're on Ancient Spellbooks, and use your best Magic Offensive Prayer. So in the first fight, the first portion of the fight, the Whisperer will throw multiple projectiles of the same style, so it's 50-50 on either range or mage, and in this instance the Whisperer throws out ranged attacks. So what I do is I step one tile to the side to avoid these tentacles that spawn out of the ground, and here we see that the Whisperer switched over to magic, and we're going to want to just switch our prayers whenever we see the projectiles blue for magic and the red spike for ranged. And when you use a Trident, this is going to be a really slow kill. I think it's around 5.5 minutes with a Trident, but that doesn't matter. So we're just going to DPS Whisperer down as much as possible until we reach a new phase. Upon a new phase, there are 3 different options that the Whisperer can do. The first is Pillars, the next is the Glowing Orb phase, and then the last possible phase are the Souls. And in this example, we're only going to kill the Sanitas. So the Whisperer chose Orbs. All we have to do is stay in the Shadow Realm and click on the Glowing Orbs. You can choose to send in a few attacks every now and then, but that's not necessary, and a lot of people recommend to memorize the orb patterns, and it's totally doable to just hop in, know where to go, but you'll have plenty of sanity as long as you don't make mistakes. So as long as you can see here, the Whisperer's second attack style is 2 of the same style and 1 of the opposite. So it's range, mage, or mage, range. And you just need to pray correctly. So we're going to let this fight play out a little bit more, but when Whisperer reaches her other threshold, she'll do her second phase, which I believe in this example will be Pillars. And again, you can choose to stay in the Shadow Realm for all of it, but it's really important to learn the proper pillar health. So here we choose the lowest pillar health, and then right next to it, to the right, is the second lowest, and then in the far corner is the highest. Again, you can stay in the Shadow Realm for this. You'll have plenty of sanity as long as you don't get hit by the tentacles when you avoid the attack. After each special, you're going to want to make sure to barrage the Whisperer or freeze her in place so she doesn't slash you. And she'll resume her 2-1 attack pattern with mage range or range magic until you reach her down to her next sorry for the brain fart. Next phase cycle. So The special attacks come at 80%, 55%, and 30% of her health. And so we're going to want to keep an eye out for when that happens. You can change the boss health indicators from exact to percent value if you prefer to remember 80, 55, and 30%. But it's a very clear indication. So like I said, we're going to just focus on the Sanitas and then leave the Shadow Realm. We don't get damaged here, we just regain some sanity. The only downside is that you don't regain prayer and you don't do the 75 damage to the Whisperer if you kill all of the ghosts. So here we froze the Whisperer. And the last attack cycle that the Whisperer does is alternating styles, kind of like a Jad phase. So she does magic, range, magic, and you have to do this one tick apart, or range, magic, range. And then simultaneously you have to step out of the way of the attacks. There's plenty of time to do all of this, so don't worry about it. Just practice the flicks, and I recommend keeping auto retaliate on as well for when you move out of the way. Now we reached Enrage phase. And in Rage phase, Whisperer will always start with ranged attacks. And then throw out 2 ranged and 2 magic attacks. You have enough time to move out of the way and attack Whisperer. And I like to change prayers kind of midway through when I see the projectile come my way. So you have enough time up until the attack lands on you to change your prayers. So we're just going to see how this fight plays out. I already took 1 tentacle hit, but we can see I still have 30% sanity here. We're reaching the end of the fight. And that's it. So that's a 5-minute 36-second kill. And we're going to end it off just like that. Let me know if you have any questions on how to kill the Whisperer more effectively, any gear recommendations. You can always reach out to me in the clan chat. My name is Saimir, and thanks for watching.